Alright, what's up, guys? It's Will with King's Cards. So yesterday I played in a remote duel regional. I didn't do too hot. I got 13th place. Yeah, 13th place. It was the same remote duel regional that Triff played in, and then I watched Triff's video last night after the regional, looked at his deck profile, and saw the things that he did with his deck. And I wanted to share mine, but it's kind of like two ends of the spectrum. Also, it's two different players, but at the same time. So Triff played the hand trap variant of the Mitsurugi Ryzeal deck. I played the board breaker variant of the Mitsurugi Ryzeal deck. I don't know his exact experience. I don't know if he also got dwellered 0 times. I'm going to assume that he probably didn't get dwellered as often as he should have. Because I do want to put this out here. I'm not going to Orlando, so I am just going to go ahead and throw this out here with all the time that I've had testing with this deck. Please start dwellering this deck. This deck is not the boogeyman of the format that people are putting it out to be. This deck is not really that scary. I enjoy the deck. I like playing it. I like the Mitsurugi cards. I think they're really cool. But this deck just shouldn't be looked at as this like horrifying deck of the format that it is. Yes, it will sack you every now and again, and you are just going to lose because they just had it. But I do think that this is if you're going to play the board breaker variant of this deck, I think this is the best way that you can play it. So we'll just go ahead and get into the list. So for the Ryzeal cards, I played Triple X. X is the best one card starter in the deck. So you're going to max out on this. I also play Triple Ice. Reasoning behind Triple Ice, some people are playing two. I think you just need to see as many copies of your one card starters as humanly possible. Sword is also a one card full combo, so you can count this as like the other name that is one card full combo. Node, it's just engine requirement. Node's a good card, but so this is it for the Ryzeal names. You don't want to play more Sword because you're already clogged up on normal summon names, and you don't want to open Sword by itself with something like a Saji. That just doesn't feel good. You have double normal summons, and then you're having to like reach incredibly hard to like put the Saji in the graveyard with the Node and then Dugar sit back, and that just doesn't feel good. So I think this is the like 100% correct amount of Ryzeal names you should be playing. Triple Bonfire is going to help you get into your Ryzeal names. This card's great. Just helps you see more consistency. And then one copy of Cross. This just makes your combos a lot better when your combos do start to resolve. This also gives your Ryzeal cards grind. Because like if you're not playing Cross and your Ryzeal cards don't really like benefit you at all in the grind game unless it's just off of Eclipse Twins bringing back a detonator, which is okay. But I do think you need to play Cross. This card just makes your inboard so much better. So if you look at this, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That gives you 10 one-card full combos, so to say. And those are the only one-card combos in the deck, which should be a red flag to you if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! In modern times, that only having 10 cards that are one-card full combo. That's not a lot, but this deck has a lot of two-card combos. So for the Mitsurugi level 4 names, play 2 Saji, 2 Kusanagi. I don't think you can max this out because then you're just starting to play like way too many normal summons and making your deck rely way too much on Dugaris. And I do not relying on that card. No. I am not skipping my next main phase 1 if I'm not summoning this back in full comboing and just going all the way off. Because when you do the Dugaris line and they chain Bestial onto this, that just does not feel good. So I think you just need to play this. I think this is fine. Even post-side, I side this down to 1. And only having 1 in 1 of these in your deck is perfectly fine. Because, like, believe it or not, going into a board, you don't want to be normal summoning Saji. Your normal summon is not taking you far in this deck. Especially going second. So I think just playing 2 in 1 is, like, completely fine. Then I played 2 Amino, 1 Futsu. I think this is also fine. I never really mess around with these out of the side deck or anything like that. I think this number is absolutely fine. I even keep this in when I go second because I think this card is what gives you the grind when you go second. Because a lot of times you can break the board, you just can't kill. And having this card on your field just makes the Mitsurugi engine go absolutely infinite. So you just kind of have to keep that card in. Triple Prayers. Card's crazy. Max the card out. Card's really good. It doesn't do anything by itself, though. But if you have other cards that support it, 2-card combo deck, yada, yada, yada. And then I played 2 Rituals. I'll go ahead and put this down here. I did a remote regional. Had some things happen. Couldn't show up to an in-person regional. So I had to play with what I had. I had 2 Ritual spell. It was completely fine. Didn't impact my play very much at all throughout the day. So I didn't have the 3rd Ritual. I decided to put in Pot of Prosperity, which does have some conflictions with the Nadir Severance package that I'll show in a minute. But it didn't really conflict at all. I never saw this card. It never came up. So it's kind of hard for a 1-of to be like this crazy overwhelming card in your deck. Um, yeah, so that's it for the Mitsurugi engine. Notice I don't main deck the trap. We'll get to that when I show you the side deck. Triple Nadir Servant. I'm playing the Board Breaker variant of this deck. And when you're playing the Board Breaker variant of this deck, you have to play this card. This card's absolutely crazy. It like serves as a board breaker as well as being like a piece of engine that helps you keep going and extending. So this card's just like, these cards are absolutely insane. I really, really like those cards. Triple Thrust. Only reason you play Thrust because you play Nadir. You wouldn't play this card if you didn't play Nadir. This card's really, really solid. I like this card a lot. Triple Talents. Really good breaker. Helps you extend, helps you like break boards apart, helps you draw cards, look at your opponent's hand, rip hand traps. This card's just really, really solid. Triple Droplet. You have to play this because you need a main deck option or a main deck card that like hypothetically could interact with the Dweller. So shout out to every person who I played yesterday who just did not Dweller me. I don't know why, but they didn't. So then I played Triple Imperm. I wanted a card that interacted with a duo because like if you interact with a duo in the Ryzeal Fiendsmith deck, a lot of the times they will not be able to make the Dweller, so I figured I would just put this card in. This card's really, really solid though. It works as like a board breaker, so to say, when you go second. It's good as the sixth. So it's just a solid card all the way around. Gives you like a main deck thrust target as well for when you go first. So that is it for the main deck. Solid 40 cards. Notice I'm not playing Night Sword Serpent. I think Night Sword Serpent is just another brick that you're adding to a deck that is already inconsistent enough, and it doesn't make your in board like that much crazier. It makes some of your 2-card combos better, but I'm not going to put another brick into my deck to facilitate 2-card combos. The math does not add up to do that. So for the extra deck, yeah, we'll go into the extra deck. Token 2 King and the Feral Imps. I like playing this because it helps you play around. When you play 2 of this, it helps you play around Bestial plus Imperm or Bestial plus Veiler. So like when they Imperm or Veiler this, you don't have to go into an Eclipse Twins and then special your ice by sending the Twins and then go Twins effect, try to summon this back out. So like because then that's when you start making Bestials high value into this deck. If you just play the second one of this, you're fine. Then I played 2 Eclipse Twins. Card's absolutely crazy. I do really like this card. It just does have that like clearing weakness in the format. Like most of your XZs are light and dark. So like this card gives you like more ways to lose to Bestials, and that's something that you have to be careful of when you're playing this deck. You just don't want to get like dropped by a Bestial at any point. Duo Drive, 1 Detonator. I don't think you need more than 1 Detonator. Duo Drive standard. Just play that card. I don't think you need more than 1 of this. This card's like it's good, but like most of the time in the format, you would probably like if you had to choose between this or Dweller, you just want to end on Dweller over Detonator. Like don't get me wrong, Detonator's a crazy card, but like people put way too much respect on this card's name when like I mean there's decks like Malice that have to respect this, but any other deck in the format, like top decks of the format, Ryzeal Fiendsmith, like Dweller is just a crazy, crazy card. So like I don't know. I don't think you need to play more than like 1 of that. You can also just recycle it back with your Cross. Best card of the format. If your deck cannot play this or your deck cannot main deck Shifter, you should not be playing like the deck that you're playing right now. I'm sorry, it's just a rough format. It's the kind of format that it is. Cards should have been banned a long time ago. But what can you do about it other than play it? Exciton. This card's really good at breaking boards. The Crystron deck struggles pretty hard with outing this card. If they're just playing like pure Crystron with a bunch of hand traps, they don't open Imperm Veiler. It's just really, really hard for them to deal with this card. Dugaris, that's for the combos when you have normal summon ice. Also just like a quality rank 4, so I do like that card. Aggregator. Good send off of X, also works with the Nadir package. And then for the rest of the Nadir package, put Herald, NTS, and Garura. I did not play the Tri-Brigade Farragut. I just don't think you need to play that card. You don't need your Nadir Servant to just like keep drawing you cards. Because like Nadir isn't a 1-card like full combo by itself. So you don't want to be dedicating like 4 cards in your extra deck to a 3-card package, which like technically with Thrust 6-card package. But I mean, these cards were just fine enough. It also works like these right here go really, really well with the Ultimate Slayer that's in the extra deck. So there's that, and then I played IPSP. I like the IP for the combos that you can do when you open just Mitsurugi cards, where you can end on IP Futsu plus prayers pre-side deck in game 1, or like post-side deck you end on IP Futsu plus trap card. That's also really, really solid. I didn't like the Reptilian Echidna. I just don't think that card comes up enough. Most of the time you're getting locked into level 4s anyways. So the card just doesn't come up enough. And the card's like, I don't know, it's good going second, but like, I just don't know the senses in which that card was coming up. It never came out for me in testing, so I just didn't play it. Side deck. So side deck looks a little weird because like that's the issue with playing the board breaker variant of this deck is because like you're side decking into overwhelmingly powerful hand traps because board breakers just kind of suck into the format. You play Lancia for the Malice and the Crystron. You play Droll for the Mirror Match for the Crystron. I even put this in when I go first against Ryzeal Fiendsmith sometimes because like when you back up, like if they hand trap you a good bit, and you put up like a mid board, but you back it up with Droll, like they should not be able to break your board at that point. And then I played Ash. This was as a going first card. I never sided this in going second. But I wanted this going first so I could have like a reliable way to interact with the mulch armies, especially Perulia. Perulia is like a death sentence for this deck. Fua can also hurt really bad if like your only ways to start the game with your Ryzeal cards. You just don't want to give your opponents draws, so you can just play the Ash to interact with it. I didn't play Cross out because I don't want to put more bricks into my deck when I go first, and a deck that already just has like a good bit of bricks in it, and like it functions off of 2-card combos. So you just don't want to be putting more bricks into the deck. So Ash was like a good card. I Ash a couple of Perulias and Fuas. Triple Slayer. This card like works so well with the Nadir Servant package. There was it happened twice where I opened like Slayer plus Maximus, which is like absolutely crazy. Like little 2-card, like little combo I guess you could call it, but like Slayer, break the board down, get a plus off of whatever you send, and then you automatically have the extra deck monster in the graveyard for the Maximus, which is really nice. Callby going first. I also put it in going second against Ryzeal Fiendsmith sometimes. It just depends on like how my opponent is playing the game. If they like rely pretty hard, because I noticed there was one guy who I played against. He just like refused to make Caesar against me because he knew that I wasn't playing hand traps like Nib, so he like really valued the Desiree. So he would he would set up the Lackerman Grave with the Agamde, which is fine. Like I think that's a really good play. And use the Lackerman as the level 4 extender. But then you just get like super hard punished by this, and I did get decalled by the Agamde. Or the Lackerman when he targeted the Agamde. I did get a call by there. I side decked the trap card. You don't want to main deck this card. It's the same thing as always. This deck is literally just like a brick house. And you don't want to be like main decking bricks that are only good when you go first. Because like if you go first and you win the roll, you should be pretty well set off at that point. But you're not always going to do that, and you just don't want this card in your main deck. And then D-Barrier is the other thrust target. I didn't play a thrust target for Malice. I didn't play the Sanctum or anything like that. I think the deck is just fine going first in a Malice. Now that Malice is playing Shifter again in the main deck, I think I might have to reconsider that. Just so you can have something that interacts with the Shifter. The Mitsurugi cards are good in the Shifter. You can still like do the full Mitsurugi plays. But I don't think that just the Mitsurugi plays by themselves is good enough into the Malice engine after they Shifter you. So that might be something that I try to squeeze into here. So that's main side extra. So I do want to put like a little bit of information out there. I'm not going to Orlando, so give you guys a couple tips and tricks to help you out with this deck if you are going to Orlando. I do think you should be side decking Droll, because if you lose the die roll to this deck, you just don't want to be caught with your pants down. Also, or Droll or Perulia. Perulia is really, really good against this deck, especially if they open just the Ryzeal cards to start their plays. You even get the draw with the when they summon the Amino from the hand, when they normal summon the Saji, summon X, then Sword, nice. It's way too many draws, and this deck's mid-boards just are not good enough to keep up with Ryzeal Fiendsmith unless they have like a thrust into a D-Barrier to counteract that. So I do think Perulia is really solid, Droll is really solid. If you go first, I think it is perfectly acceptable that if you have the ability, or if you only have the ability to make Detonator or Dweller, just make Dweller. Like Detonator is not that good against this deck. Dweller is almost a death sentence for this deck. It sucks, but the amount of, I saw it yesterday, people, and I know we're early into the format, so people are still trying to figure things out, but Orlando isn't a week, so you got a week to figure it out. Please, Dweller this deck. I think you should be making, your inboard should probably look something like a Caesar, a duo with a Material, a Cross, and a Dweller, and you should also have the Lacrima set up in the graveyard, whether it's Lacrima and Requiem, dump the trap, or if you should have Lacrima, summon the Agamde, summon back out the Desiree if you did open really well. Um, yeah, just Dweller this deck. If you're playing this deck, there are things that you could side deck if people do start Dwellering you. And there's only one card that I found that like 100% always interacts with the Dweller no matter what deck it is that is making the Dweller. It's not Droplet because a Mitsurugi deck, unless you send Imperm, can just can use the Mitsurugi trap card to negate the Droplet at that point. And you don't want to go Droplet send Imperm because then you're basically just like, you open these two cards and you just have to watch a Duo Drive resolve. That just hurts. So XYZ Encore is a card that like is 100% guaranteed to always trade with the Dweller. With priority in your draw phase, you just go Encore, target the Dweller. And that is the only way that I have found that like 100% reliably deals with the Dweller, but then you're still having to deal with the rest of the board. So figuring that out is a little bit difficult. But I do think this deck is good. I think it's solid. I just think that it's not super well positioned into the format right now, considering that the deck like can't me personally. I don't think a 2-card combo deck mathematically can afford to play hand traps for consistency reasons. Triff proved me wrong, but Triff is also a very talented player. So, I mean, I don't... And also, like, we never know. Maybe Triff just didn't get Dwellered yesterday. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe Triff just didn't play against, certain matchups. We don't know exactly what that was, or what that reasoning was. But mathematically speaking, it just is not a good decision to play hand traps in this deck, but it also is just not a good decision to play board breakers. So this deck is just what I would call poorly positioned into the format right now. It's a little bit unfortunate because I have put so much time into this deck, but it's okay. We come back stronger, and I will figure something out for this. Just give me a little bit more time. Check me out later in the week. I'm going to be dropping a video on what I personally think is the best budget deck of the format. If you got $100 sitting around, give me just a couple more days, and I will let you know what that deck is and best ways to spend that $100. So, all right, guys, appreciate y'all. We will see y'all in the next one, and peace.